would you take out, and what, if any, threat profiles would you add in?
Do you mind if I start on this one?
Please, I'm having a complete brain moment, so go.
I don't think there's any directly that we are straight off the bat like we need to get rid of those. But for Open Day, we introduced a college liaison and an SJCR liaison because obviously the reps hadn't been into college. So we wanted to present our community in the best way possible. And we think that's been really quite effective. So we'd like to include those again. And then to build upon that, have a community liaison rep to work with the local community and with local businesses to try and involve that within the Johns community and foster reciprocal relationships with local businesses.
Yeah, that's my point exactly as well. Like working with minority reps as well in some capacity. They're not all welfare trained, what creates like an issue in terms of safety. However, even if that's just like with like support and help, we definitely want to have minority reps really involved. Like I tried to run an LGBT baking event. It was difficult with the household thing, but we tried. And so, you know, just really get, rather than axing, adding.
Thank you. George, please.
So in a similar vein of seriousness, can you provide an alternative acronym for SJCR?
Sorry, I have to rename the SJCR.
Yeah, so think up, I suppose, a phrase that it has the letters SJCR. Preferably non-offensive.
Oh yeah, it's now being recorded, so it has to be. Liv, do you want to go first, or should I?
As somebody who struggles with acronyms due to my dyslexia, you can go, Izzy.
Great. As someone who also struggles with acronyms due to my dyslexia, so I have to add St. John's, or it gets really confusing. Okay, or not. So how about like, where do you want to go? Like, I can't spell. Saint is an S, so space, J, so space, giants, no, that's a G, space, jungle, wait, SJ, C, community, ragtime, as in the music piece. That's all I have.
Brilliant, thank you.
Liv, would you like to add to that?
You know, you took the words out of my mouth. Couldn't have thought it by myself.
I'll expect the new Lego very soon.
Amazing. Thank you both, and George. Yeah, I think we should call it that from now on. Lewis, I think you have a question.
Yeah, so one thing that quite a lot of us were doing last year during Freshers Week was writing risk assessments, and we were learning a lot from that from scratch. What sort of things would you do to ensure that, if required again for next term, risk assessments can be done in a much easier way, and a way that's more productive and less stressful for all involved?
I'm happy to answer it, as I cried 3 times about risk assessments in Freshers Week. So as someone who has a few learning difficulties, risk assessments were a struggle. They're needed, they're important, but they were a struggle, and it took a while for me to get my head around them. I will live and college, and will happily make a document with the help of like exec members, so they know what to add. Make a document to help our future reps and other parties have an easier way of knowing what to add, how to add, who to send it to, where, like what's the template, like basic information that is really easy to read, accessible, with links and like information. Just make it easy and accessible. We all go to a nice university, so with the information ready available, we can do quite well.
Okay, thank you. And there's one more question, which for the sake of time will be the last one. So this is from Matthew Tan, and he's saying, how will the candidates help to integrate international students and home students during Freshers Week?
Liv, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure, I can do. We've actually already had this question from one of our prospective students, and one of the things I think is important is that we So into like traditional Freshers Week, I believe that there's a section for international students and then everybody integrates normally. And I think that's important, but we need to make sure that there's opportunities that are accessible to everybody, so everybody feels involved, and try and increase just integration of all types of students as much as possible. I know it's difficult in households currently, but fingers crossed we won't be in the same situation come September. So hopefully we can just try and strive to like create a fuller community that where everybody feels welcome.
Yeah, like I don't know what it's like to move country to go to university, and I will never pretend that I do. However, there are many students and reps that do, and we need their knowledge and understanding to help us create the inclusive, accessible Freshers Week that we want. So it won't come from my own knowledge, but it will come from the wealth of knowledge we have as a community.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that marks the end of the Freshers Week coordinator questions. Thanks to everyone who asked a question and to the candidates. So if I just stop the recording. Sorry, bear with. And next up is the Academic Affairs and Students' Union Liaison. Sorry, I'm just clearly struggling.